Welcome, everybody, to this edition of Attention Talk Video. I'm your host, Attention Coach Jeff Copper, and I'm here with Robert. Robert, how are you?
Good.
The purpose of today's video is Robert is somebody, he's an executive with ADHD, and we've been working together for a period of time, and it's interesting because I always learn stuff from people that I'm working with. And Robert, when we first started coming together, would you say communicating thoughts and ideas was a challenge for you?
Yeah, I think so.
I know we talked specifically, there were some office people sometimes that you would walk in and you have an idea in your head, what you wanted, but at the end of the day, you really just would throw stuff at them. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I think I had a hard time organizing my thoughts and what I wanted to explain to them, and that was becoming a real challenge.
And in our working together, we just really basically tried to look at like how you do things. It was kind of clear that you like to map things out a little bit. Matter of fact, we're actually at his office today because we find Post-its and grease boards to be a real good way of putting ideas up and then connecting them. Is that right?
That's right.
And I guess through our efforts, I guess this is kind of an example of a diagram that you use. Is this because this is yours, right?
That's right.
Tell us about how you developed this.
Well, it basically it helped. I organized it so that I've realized I'm very visual now, and so it helps me to organize my thoughts. Mm-hmm. And then when I'm explaining it, it helps me to keep on track. It's sort of like following a map. Mm-hmm. And it's a good guide for me when I'm explaining things. It's
interesting because as you just described this, literally last time we talked, I didn't make the connection, but last time you said you like bullet points, right?
That's right.
And I just noticed that this particular diagram it's kind of a if you will, a little bit of a mind map, but it's kind of written in bullet points, right?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. It's a group of lists.
It's a group of lists, and now you do these. We've talked about how you actually put these together, and then you'll go sit down and talk with somebody and use this diagram. I guess really as a conversation piece. Right.
Yeah, it helps me to first organize my thoughts, and then second to keep on track of those thoughts, so that I don't stray into off-topic areas.
And here's what's real interesting to me is because I learn stuff all the time too. When we first started talking about this, the notion of you take this and you put it in front of somebody and talk to them about it and point to the diagram would indicate that it's really something that you would use to explain for them. But at the end of the day, for you, you do that, but it's really mostly about you. It's an outline in a conversational flow, right? Right.
Yeah, I found that a lot of the people that when I'm talking to them, they're not necessarily visual, so the diagram doesn't really do a lot for them. But what it does is, like I was saying, it helps me to keep on track. And if they're more verbal, that still helps them because I'm more clear and focused in my conversations with them.
And so, in summary, what I take is what's really fun in coaching is we truly try to pay attention to how you naturally organize your thoughts in your mind and kind of map them together. And by visually doing that in this particular structure, it's not necessarily what others might think is talking points. It seems to be working for you.
That's right. Yeah, it's working really well.
Can you give an example of maybe a work example of how you've used this and it really helped positively?
I think when we brought in some new people in our company and I had to explain the order process and how we do the pricing for our customers, before it was difficult for me because it sort of seemed jumbled and it was hard to explain. But when I started doing the diagramming, it was easy to organize it and organize the groups of customers and what kind of pricing they get. And then also for procedures, it's been great because it's not just a list of steps. It's more a diagram of if they a decision making process. So if one thing happens, then they can go one route, and if something else happens, they can go another route.
And I'm just going to put this up. If you guys look like this, it looks a little bit like a mind map. But it's interesting, Robert, because I'll tell you, mind maps are not really the tools that work very well for me. I'm more of I would make this more a mathematical or outline formula, but that's the way I do it. The point really is you do it differently, and this works for you. And for our listeners out there, when it comes to communication, sometimes just putting these things down in diagrams for many people can be very helpful.
Right. Yeah, it's I think extremely helpful.
Anything else you've learned from this process?
Well, I think it's I guess observing things is another key that I've learned, and that's to observe how I work, but also I can observe how other people work and how they respond to this, and then that makes a difference in how I communicate with them the next time.
You just actually bring up a really interesting point. Is you learn to pay attention to how you do it. What I'm hearing is it's easier to pay attention how other people do it.
That's correct. It's easy for me to observe people and how they react, but it's also easy to neglect how I react, and I think that's key. Really, is learning how for someone to learn how they work best, and then set up the environment that works best for them.
It's interesting because when that happens, usually it opens you up. You build the environment for yourself, and then you actually adjust the environment for other people for them to be optimal. So with that, Robert, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Take care.